Hi everybody, I'm here dressed as a pirate to talk about the new cartoon about pirates that came out some days ago, and it's called The Sea Beast. I was totally amazed by this cartoon because it put you back in the adventurous situations that I was used to seeing in cartoons when I was younger, and I'm going to talk in this review about why this movie is a real contemporary movie, yet including some old-style features inside it. So, the movie starts with a really involving pirate environment because we see that there is this kingdom where there are the sea monsters and there are pirates that are actually called hunters, but they live like pirates because they live together on boats, but their aim is not finding treasures but killing sea monsters. And I think it was really compelling because I love pirates, I love people that live together on boats, and you have to see the interaction among them. And also I think it was really interesting to see the striving of the human against the huge beast, which is of course something already seen, for example, in Moby Dick book, but I think it's something so powerful, like the relation and the fight that the humans have towards nature, that I think it's always something good and pleasant to watch. The struggle to kill the big sea monsters called Red, because it's red, it was important for them not only to succeed in to dominate the big unknown of the nature and the ocean and the abyss, but also to prove to the king and queen that their job, what they loved, what they lived for, was worth existing, because the king and queen wanted to delete the existence of the hunters. And I think it was so good, so I was really into it. And I also liked the characters that were mainly the captain, which is like the old, really severe man. Then we have the young captain, which is more like the young generation that wants to be as much powerful as the generation before was. And then we have the really young girl who represents the really young generation that wants to understand what she's doing. I think this movie really makes you understand that the difference among the generation is the ability of reasoning with a critical mind, because as long as we go towards the young generations, we can see in the movie that the people ask themselves more questions about what's right and what's not, while the previous one, they tended more to follow the wisdom of the ancient people. And I think it's really accurate. This conflict made these characters that had strong and interesting personality evolve, and we could really understand what they were like. So I think this first half of the movie was great. Then we go to the second half, which is the reason why I think this movie is a contemporary movie. So what's the thing that we can really see in every cartoon that has come out in the last years? Think about it. The main character, does not only want to solve the situation, but they want to overthrow the system, like the structure of the world they live in, because it is weak, it is broken, it is corrupted. And they see in the problem that they are facing not only the presence of the villain, but also the presence of a weak structure. And so they don't only kill the villain or solve the problem, but they also change the whole situation. This is what happens in the last cartoons, and we could see it with Raya, because she doesn't only, so here's your spoilers, she doesn't only save her dad, as maybe it would have happened in all movies, but she also changed the whole relationships among the kingdoms in her world. And then we could see it with Encanto, because the main character, Mirabel, she doesn't only tell her grandma that she was wrong, but doing so, she changes the whole structure of the family and of the society that she lived in. So I think that what Maisie does in The Sea Beast is something really, really similar, because she doesn't only save the beast, as we could see in old movies where there is the beast that had to be saved, but she also makes everyone see that what they were doing is wrong, and so she changes the whole situation. And I think in this movie it is even more clear, because her change is even more evident because she takes the book which is the symbol of the wisdom of the ancient generations, because the book is something that is written to be passed on in years, because paper, as she said in the movie, paper will survive more than how I will survive. So she understands that what is written in the book, so the old generation knowledge is wrong, but she understands that as long as she knows the truth and the book doesn't, the people will remember the book, because the paper lasts more than the humans. So what she does is exposing the whole book, so the whole wisdom of generations and of the king and the queens, so the higher points of power, and she explains that that wisdom was wrong, and that wisdom was created to control the people and to gain power, saving the situation, changing society structure, and also exposing the whole corruption of the old generations. Like, it's something that we can really see in these times, because now the new generations are trying to understand what were the real reasons behind the knowledge that we have been taught. So I think this is really, really contemporary, so much. Now, let's talk about what this actually means for the movie. I think that if we see this from an educational point of view, the movie is great, because we can really see that we always have to look beyond the written rules to understand what really makes people safe and what actually is right for the people's health. But then, if we go to a more cinematographic point of view and the storytelling point of view, I think, it's just my personal opinion, I think that this type of narrative takes the adventure a little bit down. So maybe I will change my mind, I'm not sure of it. I'm only saying that, like, in the first half of the movie I was super engaged, because it felt like a super important fight of your heroes against something called evil. And I understand that it's way more realistic and correct, that we don't see things as black and white, right and wrong, because things are more shaded. But I think that from a narrative point of view, the fight of the heroes against the monster is something that makes you feel more engaged into the story than like seeing that actually what you were feeling and that you had to fight against was actually not really a problem. So you see that all your energy was put in vain, and you feel that there was not so much tension as it would be. Also because in these kind of movies, really often, in the end, when we see the real enemy, which is like the old generation wisdom and stereotypes, those people, when the main character tells them, yeah, it was all wrong, those people change their mind really easily, and I think that's kind of a mistake, but I understand that like maybe they don't have so much time. I think in this way you don't really feel the threat so much, and I think in these contemporary movies we feel that the threat is less tense. These movies are a little bit less effective. I think that this could be fixed not by coming back into time and forgetting this idea of like critical thoughts and changing the system. I don't think that's the solution. I think the solution is maybe understanding who the enemy is a little bit before in the story, so we can really face an adventure, a fight that is not solved in 1 minute after the main character tells the truth. I noticed it also in Luca, which is a movie that is really similar to this one, because we see that sea monsters are not evil and they can be friends with the humans. I found Luca from this point of view a little bit more effective, because we knew from the beginning what the conflict was, and we knew that the adventure was against the division among humans and sea monsters. While here we discover it really late, and when we discover it, it's almost solved. So I don't know, I think it would have been handled better. But I still think that The Sea Monster is a great movie because the first half is great, and also because the second half, it really opens your eyes, and I think that it is still really enjoyable to watch because there are the interaction, because interesting characters, there are amazing landscapes, and also the situation is never lame. So I suggest you the movie. Let's see what the new cartoons will be like and if the adventure feeling will be preserved. So see you for next time. Thank you for watching, leave a like if you liked, and see you.